Alright, so I'm back again, and this is day 7 through 9 of the G1 Climax 27 for this year. So this is pretty interesting going into this is more focused on the A block than the B block. B block, they had some pretty solid outings. Although nothing really that's been considered great. Although actually day 4 was the best. I'd have to say was the best out of the B block in terms of the G1. Day 8's not too far behind. But let's just go ahead and get into the video. Let's get into day 7. So day 7 is the A block. You had Tomohiro Ishii defeating Yoshihashi. This is actually a pretty good match because Chaos, whenever members of Chaos ever wrestle each other at the G1, it's always good to see because these guys will beat the shit out of each other, and you always get really good matches out of them. This was no exception. You have Ishii fucking taunting Yoshihashi at times. Yoshihashi showing that fighting spirit, but Ishii was just too strong for him. Hitting him with chops non-stop. Knife edge chops, forearms, shoulder tackles, and ultimately finishes him off with a brainbuster to pick up the win. A good match. Next up, you had Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Luck Fale. This was a pretty solid match. And something I noticed throughout the match, like Zack Sabre Jr., whenever he screams, he sounds like a pterodactyl. Though, like, honestly, it's like ah ah. I kind of couldn't help but laugh. But this was the worst match on the card. Still a very good match, though, I must admit. That was pretty good, where Sabre was using his technical prowess to combat Fale's power, the powerhouse that was Fale. And he ultimately got I think it was a victory roll to pick up the win. Pretty good match, worst match on the card, but it was still a solid match. Then you had Togi Makabe defeat Kota Ibushi. Not a bad match. Makabe, he's getting old in the tooth. He's really slowing down. But he's still putting on decent performance. Ibushi's Ibushi. He's always going to bring it no matter what. So, yeah, Makabe, he was just bullying Ibushi throughout the match. Just whooping his ass. Ibushi trying to use some high flying moves. Has a spectacular drop kick. Like, Ibushi would hit a clothesline of his own, but he was trying to match Makabe in terms of striking, which he really shouldn't do, which he really shouldn't have done, because Makabe was just getting his ass, and he ended up hitting him with back-to-back King Kong knee drops. One when he was standing, and then he ended up following up with another one while he was down to pick up the win. Then you have Tetsuya Naito defeating Yuji Nagata. Naito with some extra disrespect. Nagata wasn't having that shit, and he would just kick the fuck out of Naito non-stop. Like, kick him in the back a few times, then he'd kick him in the chest. He just wasn't playing any of that shit. So, that was pretty fun. You got really good counters where you have Nagata catch Naito in the armbar at one point. But ultimately, Naito would finish it off with Destino to pick up the win. So this is probably tied for best match. Then you had Hiroshi Tanahashi and Haruki Goto. These two had a really good match. Tanahashi ended up picking up the win. And that was it for day 7. Because Tanahashi was also hitting. He was fucking with Goto. Him and Goto were beating the shit out of each other. You could tell that they had that beef since Goto's with Chaos. Then you had Goto hitting his stuff, Tanahashi hitting his stuff. You had one point there was Goto using his fucking kick to the chest on Tanahashi. Tanahashi would work over the leg a little bit. Ultimately, these are really good counters. Like when Goto tried to hit the fucking Ushigoroshi. Tanahashi countered that into the sling blade. Hit back-to-back high fly flows, and he ended up picking up the win. So that was a really good show. 8 out of 10. Thought the matches could have been a little. I think they could have been a little bit better if they had given a bit more time. But it was like a 3-hour show. They're trying to keep it under 3 hours. So I can understand that. Ishii's been consistent though out of the A block so far. Ishii, he's been real consistent. So on to day 8. So on day 8 of the G1, you get Tama Tonga defeating Juice Robinson. This was a pretty good match between the two, where the whole story was Robinson, he was still selling the knee injury, and Tama Tonga, he was really working over the knee. Juice, he was showing that fighting spirit, trying to pull through, and he had really good counters where Juice would try to hit the kill switch. Tama Tonga would get out of it, try to hit the gun stun. They would go back and forth trying to hit some finishers, but ultimately Tama Tonga ends up hitting the gun stun to pick up the win. Tama Tonga, I gotta say, he's actually improved upon last year. Because last year, he was mediocre at best. But I gotta say, I've actually been enjoying him a bit more. Hasn't been great, but he's been solid. So that's one thing I will say. Then you had Sonata defeat Toru Yano in the worst match of the block in day 8. They just keep dragging this shit out. But at least it wasn't as fucking painful to watch as Kenny Omega and Toru Yano from day 6, where that felt like an eternity. This one, it was much shorter, and you had Sonata ended up wrapping tape, using duct tape to tape Yano onto the stage, like right in the middle, take him to the middle of the stage and duct tape him to pick up the win by countout. Shitty match, skip it. If you've seen one Toru Yano match, you've seen them all. Just skip it. But then you had Evil defeat Minoru Suzuki. This was a hard-hitting match. We had these guys beating the shit out of each other, taking it in ringside. Suzuki would whack Evil with the chair early on. Then Evil with the non-foldable chairs. Then Evil took a foldable chair, wrapped it around, did the typical spot where he wrapped it around Suzuki's neck, grabbed another chair, and he just wham! Just smacked the fucking chair off his neck. Like, these guys were going in. These guys, I like to see these guys have more time. Like, for the first time these guys wrestled, it was a fun match. I really hope that future it could get more time, and we could really get a great match out of these two. So Evil picking up the win, that should put him in line for a never open weight title shot in the future. So if they ever do a rematch for this time for the title, I'll look forward to that one. Then we go from that to Okada defeating Satoshi Kojima. This was a very interesting match where Okada was acting like a heel. I wonder if they're going to turn him heel though. Like, they're teasing Okada having a possible heel turn, where he was just fucking disrespecting Kojima nonstop. Every chance he got, he attacked fucking Tenzan when he was at ringside, threw him in the ring. He's like, come on, motherfucker. And Tenzan's like, what the fuck's your problem, man? And the ref's like, hey, you gotta get out the ring, Tenzan. He was just fucking with Tenzan. And it was a really good match from these two, where these guys were countering each other. Where you got Kojima trying to hit the lariat, Okada ducks, goes for the Rainmaker. There's one point when Okada went for the Rainmaker, and then Kojima just got him with the left arm lariat. And these guys worked really well. It was a well done match. And Okada ended up hitting a drop kick, a tombstone, then he hit the Rainmaker to pick up the 3 count. So we go on to Michael Elgin and Kenny Omega. Great fucking match. I thought this was better than their match last year at Dominion, which I thought that was really good. I just felt that Omega looked weak. This one, they made him look strong. And these guys it was a very hard-hitting match. Like, one point you had Omega doing a spinning backhand, and he fucking knocked the shit out of Omega. Fuck, man. Like, Omega was just reeling. He kicked out of a fucking Elgin bomb. So what ended up happening was Michael Elgin, he hit the burning hammer, and I was expecting Omega to kick out. I'm like, all right, Omega's gonna kick out. No. Elgin picks up the 3 count. And wow, Elgin gets the win. But Elgin cuts the promo about how he got 2 losses in a row, but he made up for it by getting 2 wins in a row. So he's looking up to continue this momentum he's starting to build up. And that was the end of day 8. This was a pretty good show. Wasn't quite as good as day 4. It was close to day 4, but it didn't quite reach those levels. Who knows? Whenever I start watching day 10, maybe they'll pick up the pace. But I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. It was much better than day 6, but not quite on the level of day 4. So B block, from what I've seen, so I haven't watched day 10 yet. 10 and beyond, I've yet to watch that. You got Okada with 8 points. Omega and Evil tied for second with 6 points. Then you got Elgin, Suzuki, Tama Tonga, and Sonata all tied with 4 points. You got Juice Robinson and Toriano tied with 2 points, and Kojima sitting at 0. You telling me Kojima couldn't get a fucking win over Yano? I mean, come on. Dude deserves a win. What the fuck did he do to deserve jobbing out to Toru Yano? Seriously. But moving on. We get day 9, and day 9, it was a bit disappointing. I mean, you got Togi Makabe defeating Yuji Nagata. It was a pretty good match. Makabe, Nagano trying to fight through, but old age is catching up to him. And Makabe ended up taking him out with a King Kong knee drop while Nagata was actually standing. Ding. Then you had Bad Luck Fale defeat Kota Ibushi. This was a pretty good match. This is a pretty good match. This is the best Fale match I've seen so far. Well, yeah, probably it's a tie with this match with Zack Sabre Jr. Where Ibushi was bringing it to Fale, but Fale was using his power to beat the shit out of Ibushi. Although there's one point where they took it outside and they were fighting in the crowd. Ibushi was able to get the upper hand, and he'd end up doing a fucking moonsault, like off the top, well, not the very top of the stage, probably like the middle, where like the wall, yeah, probably close to the stage, and yeah, let's just say he was like towards the top, and he did a fucking insane moonsault, and he tried to get the count out win, but Fale was able to hurry his ass back into the ring. Ibushi kept bringing the fight to Fale, but ultimately Fale ended up overpowering him by hitting him with the Grenadier and followed by the Bad Luck Fall, aka the Razor's Edge, for the 3 count. Then we get Hiroki Goto defeating Zack Sabre Jr. I was expecting more from this match, but it was good, but I thought it could have been great, but it was just missing. It just didn't quite take it to that level it needed to be. Where Sabre was using his technical powers, Goto was doing his thing. Oh, I felt they were kind of coasting a bit. And at the end, Goto ended up hitting Sabre with the GTR to pick up the win. Then we have Hiroshi Tanahashi defeat Yoshihashi. This is another good match, although I felt they could have made much better. The storytelling could have been better. You had Tanahashi working over the leg of Yoshihashi throughout the match. Thought Yoshihashi, him and Tanahashi, it felt like both of them, they were kind of coasting. Well, Yoshihashi was kind of coasting. A-Block starting to coast. I hope that doesn't become a common theme for the rest of the G1 for whenever I get to days 11 and 13. But Tanahashi, when Yoshihashi tried to do like that suplex where he goes into the neck breaker, Tanahashi ended up countering that into a sling blade, hit another one, then he did a high fly flow for the 3 count. And then in the main event, you had Tomohiro Ishii and Naito. This was just like any other matches, although this one, I will say this wasn't quite as good as their match at Wrestling Dontaku in 2016. Probably due to the fact that match they had more time to work with. This one, there was a 30-minute time limit, so they were able to get like 20, maybe 25 minutes tops. But shockingly, Ishii ends up picking up the win. Ishii was hitting clotheslines, multiple lariats on Naito. He chopped the fuck out of Naito. Naito was doing his usual thing where he was spitting Ishii's face, hit his tornado DDT, do the slingshot drop kick that he usually does in the corner, hit his usual spots, but Ishii, he ended up hitting the brainbuster for the win. And that's something I really didn't see coming. So so I didn't expect Naito to lose to Ishii. I would have figured that he might have if he was going to lose to anyone, he might lose to Tanahashi. But he lost to Bad Luck Fale and Tomohiro Ishii. So now for the A block leaderboard points, you got Tanahashi at number 1, sitting at number 1 with 8 points. Tied for second, you got Naito, Ishii, Zack Sabre Jr., Goto, Makabe, Fale with 6 points. Ibushi is sitting at 4 points. Yoshihashi sitting at 2 points. And Yuji Nagata with 0. I'm going to give this show a 7 out of 10. There wasn't much fire to these guys. Felt like they were coasting. I wish they would have got more. I wish I would have got more out of these guys. So overall, I'm gonna give, like with these 3 shows combined, I'm gonna say 7.25, maybe 7.5 out of 10 as a whole. It was good. It was a good stretch, but a lot of them could have, but it just didn't reach that level of great. It just didn't reach the level to where I could just say, oh man, that was so great. So that has been day 7 through 9 of the G1 Climax. So sometime next week, let's see, I'm gonna try to go ahead and hop on day 10. Try to knock that out at least today, and hopefully whatever I can of day 11 along, and then day 12, and try to get that probably like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at the earliest. Between Monday and Wednesday at the earliest. If not, I'll probably go like either Thursday, between Thursday, Saturday. So I'll be back. So that's been days 7 through 9. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.